At 8 o'clock to analyze some of the stories that were brought to you at 7 o'clock. Now we're here to analyze those stories, discuss debates, and of course, share perspective on some of these, particular headlines that were outlined this morning. You are absolutely free to join in the conversation by calling 0807 777 9927, 0807 777 9927. There are simple rules on the headline news analysis I will state every single morning. So please, let's take them again.
All right, we do not give into any logical fallacies, and you have 1 minute to make your comment on 0807 777 9927. Again, 0807 777 9927. So as to let other people make their comments as well. Also, if you're going to be bringing any story, you have to make sure it's from a verifiable source. I'm Danielle Shitta-Bey.
And I am Adeyemi.
We have our in-house analyst with us. Good morning to you, Nicholas. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm fine.
All right. How's your trip down here as well?
Well, cool.
All right. That's great to hear. The views to be expressed is not in any way the position of FlowFM 92.7 or the staff therein, but is expressed by our in-house analyst, Nicholas Uwerunonye. Also, we're streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook this morning at FlowFM 927. So you can get on any of the apps and get on live action happening in the studio right now. Let's get into the news stories. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has declared former Minister of State for Petroleum and Resources and ex-governor of Bayelsa State, Timmy Silva, wanted over alleged involvement in financial crimes. Now, this was in a notice issued on Monday and signed by Delio Iwale, head of media and publicity. The anti-graft agency said Silva is wanted in connection with the case of conspiracy and dishonest conversion of $14,859,257. And the funds were reportedly provided by the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board to Atlantic International Refinery and Petrochemical Limited for the construction of a refinery, as the commission urged members of the public with useful information on the former minister's whereabouts to contact any of its officers across the country to report to the nearest police station.
You know, when I saw that story this morning, I don't know how best to describe, how I felt. Because, the thing is, if anybody explains Nigeria to you and you understand it, probably that person hasn't explained it well. Because Silva has a long rap sheet in terms of money laundering, and corruption-related controversies dating way back 2012. And, there was a case that was discharged. Was it 2015, thereabout? Yeah, he was discharged and his properties returned to him. You understand? But it wasn't as if he was acquitted. And there were other pockets of different allegations against him. And yet, the same man was a minister under the same party that is currently after him right now. And don't forget that there has been a lot of reports about his house being searched in connection with an alleged coup d'etat. That those people say that he was a sponsor. A lot of the reports are out there. And all of a sudden, we have this. We've been declared wanted. So it leaves a lot of questions, litanies of questions, that one needs to ask about jurisprudence in Nigeria on it. That's and how well we fight anti-corruption. The first question I'm going to ask is, that money, that EFCC is all after right now. I don't think that it should be about Silva alone. The board that gave him that money, what level of governance was brought into managing such money? Or was it that the clout of Silva, as a politically exposed person, intimidated them into asking the right question before that money was misapplied or misappropriated, allegedly? That is on the one hand. Then again, when we have these streams of, because when I saw that story, the first thing I did was to do a profile, ask for a profile from Google, just to tell me, they give me a detail of this, his controversies, his brushes with the law. And there are lots of, black holes, that I couldn't even explain. You understand? And for me, as a journalist and an investigative reporter, when you see black holes like that, it kind of intrigues you. That is exactly where you start asking questions about that. And when you have black holes, when you have no explanation, somebody's trying to hide something from you. So this is one, it's symptomatic of the kind of problem we face in Nigeria, in the areas of law enforcement, in the areas of anti-corruption fight. Yeah, I don't know, but because I'm kind of conflicted. We really need to know exactly why this man happens to be a recurring decima. And this is quite intriguing again, because I recall that back in I believe it was 2011 thereabout, in the run up to in the run up to 2011 election, presidential election. I know that there was a huge falling out between the president at that time, Goodluck Jonathan, and him. But even to the extent that a report was surreptitiously released into the media space, allegedly from the presidency, detailing claims that the same Temi Silva threatened to kill the sitting president. Now we are talking about a coup again. You understand? So you see, the thing, it's a motley of, it's a motley of things that are intriguing about this man. Who the hell is he? That is the question that I'm asking myself. And apart from just one report that he hasn't run away, that he's not involved in anything, we haven't heard anything about him. So it's something that I think we should keep on the front burner for once at least. There should be more media inquiry about it. It's not enough to just declare him wanted. EFCC too has to explain why there have been this level of incompetence in prosecuting him. A man who has this kind of thing, how did he even get nominated as a Minister of State for Petroleum? In the first instance, a man that has all this kind of a thing. What I know about intelligence and security-related reports is that when you are involved, when crime happen around you, it puts a question mark on your person. You don't touch that person even with a long batch pole. So it's kind of strange, it's sickening, really.
All right. Can one say that with all of this and that's tied around, the former governor, former minister Temi Silva, and then the recent one, can we just say maybe there's a fallout somewhere, and hence the dug up of these $14.8 million that we're talking about?
Probably.
And then if you look at that, how many years ago now? It's over, it's over 6-8 years now that this is resurfacing
again,
or coming up. Can we say there is a fallout somewhere?
Oh,
there
definitely.
was a thing. Doye Diris of the PDP joining the APC, and then he is stalwarts of in the APC as well too. And then, secondly, what does that say about the number one citizen of the country, and of course the president, and then the anti-graft going, for a member as big as Temi Silva in Bayelsa?
Sometimes you see, over the years, I have learned to be very careful about when you have to profile a sitting president. One of the reasons is that you don't have all the facts. When you get...
You never have?
No, I don't have all the facts. I know, as a reporter, I don't have all the facts. Like you just pointed out, are just questions begging for answer. Then from his point of view, probably he doesn't want to deal with that kind of an individual in his, but because of certain consideration, certain backdoor deals that have been made for the sake of peace in the Niger Delta and the rest of them within the party, you might just allow sleeping dog to lie. Then for some reason, the agreements that we had at the back door, fell flat. Somebody, profaned, the so-called agreement. You might decide to say, okay, fine, go after him on the basis of this. These are political horse trading. It's not as if I'm sanctioning that kind of a thing. I'm not sanctioning it. But my problem is that, you see, when things like this start to happen, the optics is always very bad for the party in power, and of course for the man who is the commander-in-chief. The optics are very bad. So I will look forward to something very, very thorough by way of explanation to the public why this man appears to be a recurring decima where controversies such as this, subversion, money laundering, criminality. Why does it surround this man?
Okay.
Are we misunderstanding?
Let's look at the ministry as a whole. That's the petroleum, the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Resources. Look at that, and we still have a case that is unsolved. That of Dizani Alense Madueke, former Minister of Petroleum.
Exactly.
Now we're having Minister of State for Petroleum. The late General and head President of the country was Minister of Petroleum. Juicy, one would say.
You see,
so should there be a light into that ministry to say, okay, there's a whole lot going on within this ministry. How can we bring lights to it?
Not just lights, a supernova. Something akin to the sun must be thrown into that place so that. But I doubt if the entire Nigeria can contain what will come out of that.
Oh goodness!
Because you see, the NNPC over the years is like a black hole, a cesspit of corruption. For several years there hasn't been a comprehensive audit of the accounts of the books. So you can imagine. You want to throw light into that. What are you going to see? It's going to be so frightening that you're going to get a heart attack. What successive presidents have been doing is manage the skeletons. Because you allow it to come out in public, then you would, it's going to probably do more damage than
good.
Yeah, because before things start getting better.
You remember the case of former NNPC, chairman, who was alleged to have, put money on the beneath, bunkers.
Several. The thing is, the first time I had an inkling of just how much terrible our petroleum industry is was that, I spoke to an industry player and he told me that, he asked me a question. He said, how many barrels of petroleum do we produce in a day? I just gave him the figures of the one I had there. It was 2.5 million barrels per day. He said that is what they tell you officially, that we don't have a means of knowing. That is it. That was what the guy just told me, that they don't have a means of knowing. That is what they tell you every day. But behind the scene, because he has been a player. So that is number one. The thing left me reeling. I know that Nigeria has what appears to be a bottomless, reserve of crude oil. So if you don't know exactly what is taken out of the place, so you could well assume that if they are going to steal that kind of a thing, they don't steal it conservatively. Okay, if we give the country 2.5 million, barrel per day, let's just take 500,000 barrel per day. They don't do things like that. Something you don't see is what you don't see. So they can decide to go for 10 times that. So for me, that is, if I want to do an investigation, something that is, I think of the worst thing that a human being can do, and I start bringing it down from there. So that is the level of corruption we are dealing with, something that is even bigger than an individual. You understand? So that is why successive presidents are coming. Look at PIB, for instance, the petroleum industry bill. Look at how long it took. And at the end of the day, when it was passed, was that the original version that was passed? That wasn't it. They had to be a lot of, wheeling and dealing to whittle down, the intensity of the original draft. So that is our oil industry as it is.
Well, this presidency is also planning a major shake-up in the NNPC, and this is because of the low oil output. What do you think will come out of this one, this time around?
My optimism is a bit conservative on that. Maybe we might have a bit of more clarity, but to have a comprehensive audit, clarity, I doubt it. I doubt it.
Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. What is your name?
How
Where
are
are you
you
calling
today?
from? Fine, thank you very much.
My name is Kola.
Okay.
Caller
My name
from
is Ilorin.
Caller from Jerry. Please go ahead with your comment.
Yeah, thank you. You see, what I want to say is that your colleague has said it all. Because going forward, what is happening in Nigeria today, discover that the government, be it the previous or the current one, they are not being sincere enough with their fight against corruption. You can imagine a one-time governor by State who has been alleged with so many fraudulent activities, such that at a point, this man's properties was returned back to him. But he's not yet acquitted. All of a sudden, nothing happens again. They swept lots of things under the carpet. But when the issue of coup d'etat came on board, that was when the EFCC now deemed it fit to search their doom lights, looking for him here and there. Look at Yabelo of Kogi State. This guy was here and there flaunting his wealth in Nigeria. See what he has committed. Everybody knows what he has committed as far as money laundering and not more is concerned. But if there's a mere cheese that went to the market, still go to jam or something, you shouldn't be surprised. In fact, you should be amazed that the judge might even sentence him or sentence him. So it's very low. But if you consider this way, I can assure you Nigeria will never get there. That is the matter. It's either you are sincere with our pursuit, with our decision, with our purpose. If not, God will never come down and get it done for us. God is so busy than all these nothing that in Nigeria. I need to be honest with you. Look at US. Yesterday, Trump declared that US is now the richest economy in the whole world. And he had even determined and promised the American citizens that we will be paid $2,000 US. Mm-hmm. That is equivalent to about 3 million. And the dividend sharing of profit that has been accrued from the high tariffs that he placed on all these trade, bilateral trade. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine. Look at human being thinking.
All right.
Oga, it's very unfortunate. This country is.
All right, Kola.
I don't know if we can get it.
All right, thank you, Kola.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so very much for your comment this morning. Please let's keep it within the time frame, 1 minute 60 seconds, so we can entertain as many comments as possible. Let's go ahead with it.
All right, we have a comment on WhatsApp, a voice note. Let's take a listen to it.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, Danielle. Good morning, Dayo and Nicholas. Good morning. Hope you had a wonderful night. Quickly on Timothy Silva and the EFCC. You see, there's no point we deceive ourselves. Like the Yorubas do say, all the Ajakele in Yomopulano, or how do they put it? Whichever way. You know, it's just to tell you, we've heard stories of a coup d'etat, and we heard stories of his alleged involvement in the alleged coup. And we are hearing this just this week. It tells us something is not right somewhere. Fine, he's been declared wanted. But then, why did it take this long? You see, we are in the hands of politicians that tells us everything is right as long as you play along with them. You know, when we truthfully open up, these are politicians, and the public are made aware of the kind of money they have stolen from us, none of them will be able to stand before us and ask for our votes. They are all, I'm sorry to say, without no exceptions. You see, because when they don't do it directly, they do indirectly. No matter how well we want to praise anyone for doing for executing projects or whatever, they are all stealing from us, directly or indirectly, through proceeds and through so many things that we don't even know. So if the EFCC wants to be as transparent as it ought to be, let us have the dossiers of all this prior to an election. Then we'll be able to say who we want to vote for and who we won't vote for. But unfortunately, that's not the kind of EFCC we want. We have. The kind of EFCC we should have is the kind of EFCC that will give us dossiers of people that are contending to be in control of our collective patrimony. And the moment a president nominates people for ministerial appointments and board appointments or not, they ought to even bring out the dossiers of whoever is nominated. So we all will know if they are worthy of that post or not. But that's not the EFCC we have. God bless Nigeria.
All right, that was from Toyin from Taiwo. Thank you very much for your comment.
The man is speaking direct from his heart. And, he raised a lot of questions, that is, it's so sickening. It makes you sometimes you feel overwhelmed. That how long do we continue with this? Sometimes you feel it's so deliberate so that by the time you are overweighed with this kind of question, you are weakened. You don't even know where to start asking your questions from. I don't think that if they really want to get this man, they will get him. Don't forget the Yaya Bello thing. They declared him wanted and he was there in the government house. Nobody could go there because instead of immunity. Immunity is only around the governor. That is Odudu. If you wanted to pick Yaya Bello, you pick him up. It's as simple as that. So, I mean, it's quite saddening, but DSS could, okay.
We have a call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. This is James calling from GRA.
James from GRA, good morning to you. Please go right ahead. 1 minute, please.
About the topic of this morning, your guests have said it all. You see, it's quite unfortunate that in this Nigeria, they tend to be provoking the ordinary Nigerians every day by day. Silva being corrupt is not a new thing. By the way, our Senate president was once declared wanted by the same Lamido. Today he's Senate president. Silva was not sent before he was made the NNPC boss. Today, what do you expect that can do? Why is this news new to us? All the past government officers that was once declared wanted, they are still active in politics today. And tomorrow we expect something different from them. It's not new. It's just bringing up this news, like provoking Nigerians more and more, because you know this person is corrupt from day one, and you appoint the person minister of petroleum, and today you expect us to come and what is new about Silva and corruption that is new to us now? It's quite unfortunate. I don't want this kind of things to focus.
Okay.
Please talk to government. Well, let me forget. Well, EFCC former boss was also declared wanted. So what is new? It's very painful.
Okay. Let me just quickly correct something. When he said the news provokes us, no, that's not exactly the intention of the headline news analysis.
No.
Now, the provocation that we're talking about is to spur us to speak up and ask questions, not any other, negative form of provocation. But here's the thing. The statement says, I just want you to speak on it. Okay. The statement says, anyone with useful information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have one.
Take it to the nearest police station.
I spoke to the man once, Temi Silva. It was, I think, after one of our colleagues in Abuja, Akinri Moladi, a former colleague, senior colleague of mine in TEL, was whisked away, from Abuja. He said while he was governor of, Bayelsa, he had the guy whisked away from Abuja, taken over to, and imprisoned, until, when he came to Abuja, I was privy to, talk to him. He asked for some, everybody was talking off point, and I asked him pointedly about what the Akinri Moladi thing. The guy dropped the mic and, he looked at me somewhat. Very few, for me, I've always been more curious than cautious in my thing, and very little things scare me, really. But that day, that man gave me the creeps. And that is just me. I'm not a security person, but there are certain looks that a guy gives you, and you know that this guy is not an ordinary human being. And that is look. I'm not saying he's this. I'm not saying he's a vampire or anything, but I think if there is anything like vampire, that kind of feeling that I had is what you are going to get when you are looking at a vampire. Wow. That is just me. But this is an opinion, honestly. So so sometimes so anytime Temi Silva's matter comes up, there's this chill that comes over me. There's something that is just off about that man that I don't really, and that is what you were saying. It's a complete controversy. Nobody can explain anything. So
nobody knows where he is.
I don't believe nobody knows where he is. You see, look, I have always said something. You see, one of the best equipped secret police we have in Africa is DSS.
So why not go after him rather than drop this new story for us?
Well, it's not DSS that dropped it, it's EFCC. And I'm not sure, I don't know if they have asked the help of DSS. Sometimes these guys work at cross purpose, for whatever reasons. I don't know.
Let's take another call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. What is your name and where are you calling from, please?
My name is Shitta. I'm calling from Sango.
Okay, Shitta, please go ahead with your comment.
Quick one. My own comment this morning. A lot of people have said a lot regarding the Silva's issue. But my own is going to be summary of how our political space is so corrupt in this country. You see, I sit down because when you listen to the news, you feel as if nobody is even safe in this country. And we have a lot of good people. I later get to know that our grassroots politics is very, very corrupt. For example, look at Bayelsa State. There will be a lot of good people in that place. But the grassroots will push people like Silva out. That is the people. that we want to represent us. We want to represent us because he must have, used money to buy everybody. And that is what we have been experiencing everywhere. That is why when they appoint minister, you get to a point that you'll be, ow. So it's only God that can help us in this country. But our grassroots politics be careless of what the problem we're having. I listen to a lot of programs. If you see how they're exposing themselves now, the way they are nominating people for a particular office, God will help us in this country.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, just to say that, away from the conversation, I will have news that in Ekiti State, an Australian-based medical doctor won the president, the PDP, governorship tickets in Ekiti State.
Oh, wow.
Based in Australia. How about how about the locals?
Well.
Again, if you look at them, they just concluded an Anambra election.
Yeah.
Only one person picked up the ticket. For the PDP. How about the others?
Well, you see, the thing is, I don't know. From Australia, wow, that is something, out of the place. Maybe they want a fresh start.
They want a fresh start.
Oh, exactly.
Okay.
They don't want any of these soiled politicians they have around.
So it begs the question of, is it based home? Bobby,
no. He could be based abroad, and where he has been contributing massively into the politics of the locality, development of the locality, and they feel that look, we want somebody that has a fresh idea that is not tainted by our local politics to come and, But that's a good try, really.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take this Facebook comment from Dr. Mrs. Amalibara from Owerri. She says, any government that undermines the rule of law sets a dangerous precedent for impunity and lawlessness. The Supreme Court is the highest law of this country and foundation of our nationhood. Is Nigeria now a banana republic? How can we disregard the laws that we set for ourselves? Doing this undermines justice, weakens and destroys the principles that hold it tight.
Thank you.
0807-777-9927. Again, 0807-777-9927.
All right, our time is fast spent, but let's quickly introduce this and take a few seconds, comment on it, and then we'll push it to tomorrow. President Tinubu Simons targets additional 4,000 megawatts to boost Nigeria's power supply.
Yeah, quite salutary. But I think that is not where the problem lies. I think... it has been monodirectional in the sense that we are only focusing on dust, fuel, and gas-powered turbine. There are other cheaper alternatives that we could explore for power generation. And, actually, I've been speaking to a very young chap who's been trying to do an energy summit in Kwara State. And some of the things he discussed is how do we use solar in such a way we can generate, power for some locality. Since we have unbundled, the law setting up, power. So he's looking at the position of bringing stakeholders to talk around the issue, where they can even convert your roof into power generation and put a nearby grid there so that you can use it for the locality, if that possibility is there for Nigerians. So that is one alternative. Maybe he's just looking there for industrial, then of course the transmission of power. That is where the problem is, because that is where you have all the glitches, So quite salutary, but I think it should be multi-pronged, not monodirectional,
All right, then. Well, our time is fast spent. Let's get your closing thoughts on the conversation for today, and then we'll wrap it up.
Well, you see, right now I'm in a daze because the Pratemi Presiva thing is, I'm having a throwback of the first encounter I had with that guy, and he's bringing it, I'm still having that creep. So, but then again, it's something Nigerians should think about, really.
Well,
what kind of politicians do we put in office?
Nicholas, it's daytime, and of course, one is not expected to go to sleep during the day, especially when you're very much active during the day. So please, try and get it off your mind. Maybe at night you could say a few prayers before you go to sleep, if you get what I mean.
All right.
All right, then. The views expressed is not in any way the position of FlowFM 92.7 of the staff therein, but is expressed by in-house analyst Nicholas Uwerunonye and any of it also called into the show this morning. We'll be back to your ears tomorrow by 8 o'clock to 8:30 per usual. I'm Danielle Shitta-Bey.
And I am Adeyemi. Thank you very much for joining us.